Hello everyone, welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Commander review video, and today we're talking about Crosis the Purger from the Invasion set. This is the first of the many legendary 3-color dragons that we're going to be seeing since the Elder Dragons. I could not remember what they were called for a second. The original Elder Dragon Highlander cards. These are the first 3-color legendary dragons we've seen since then. So Crosis the Purger is a dragon. It's a 6/6. That's going to be a very common theme, and they all cost 6 mana. This one costs 3 generic, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, or Grixis. It has flying, and whenever Crosis the Purger deals combat damage to a player, note the combat damage, that's important, you may pay 2 and 1 black. If you do, choose a color, then that player reveals his or her hand and discards all cards of that color. It's cool to see that in this era of Magic the Gathering, the Grixis color scheme was very much hand hate, discard your opponent's hand, and really give them no options to fight back. So very cool card, very strong ability. And you choose the color during resolution. This means your opponent does not get to react after knowing the color you choose. And that is part of the resolution of the stack. It's a triggered ability. You pay the trigger, and it is resolving as you pay the trigger. So your opponents can't interrupt what's happening on the stack, because how the game works is every spell needs to fully resolve before someone can interact. And I'm essentially how that would work would be, goodness, what's a good way of wording that? If there's ever a card effect that ever has 2 parts to it, do this, then do this, you always have to do both parts first of that one card before someone can then interact and put something on the stack. Just because if you were able to interrupt an ability halfway through it resolving, it would make the game even more complicated than it already is. So that's why it is important to note, once you pay the cost and you choose the color, that's part of the resolution of this triggered ability. So it needs to be able to resolve first before someone can interact with it, because it would break the game otherwise. It would be absolute chaos. Of course, just like in my Nicol Bolas video, Geth's Grimoire, I'm pretty sure this was in the Nicol Bolas video, whenever an opponent discards a card, you're going to draw a card. So, of course, put it in a discard deck. Speaking of discard, that is the deck I'm going to be building around. It is a very heavy discard theme. I don't remember if this is discard specific or if it's like discard with dragons theme, but it is definitely discard focus, and there's a lot of ways to punish your opponents in this deck. Popular deck idea on EDH Rec is Specter Tribal throughout the Grixis colors. There's Specters in all of them. Primarily it's a black tribe, and they are all about dealing combat damage and having your opponents discard. And there's some fun stuff you can do in there as well, which I think is very fun. And then lastly, you're going to see some variation of this idea throughout each of the Legendary Dragon videos. And that idea is taking advantage of dealing multiple damage, multiple combat steps, because the more you trigger that ability, the more information you get, especially with Crosis, the more information you get, so then you can pick the correct colors on how to maximize on its ability. So in this case, with red, you're going to have things that give it double strike, you're going to have ways to make more token copies of Crosis, and you're going to give extra combat steps to deal as much damage as possible. Very aggro with this build, and I think that's a lot of fun. So let me know in the comments below what you think. And that is going to do it for Crosis the Purger. Now, like I've said in other videos, the real meat of this series is in the individual videos. So I'm adding the grade that you're going to see in the tier list video, so that way when we do the tier list video, it really is a capstone of everything we've talked about to just show you what I've seen as going through these cards. So unfortunately, it is a D rank card. There's not a whole lot of decks built around it. I think D is 5 decks, about 5 decks are built using this as the commander. And those are deck ideas that are built around this commander. Strengths is you're going to get rid of your opponent's hand, and it's very effective, and that's very cool. But also, you're going to get targeted for it because your opponents would like to play the game too. And if they don't get to play the game, they're going to stop you from playing the game, so that way they can play the game. So be prepared to get targeted with this commander. But with that said, that's going to bring this video to a close. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your patience and your support as I've been recovering from being sick, trying to keep my voice from getting too hoarse and getting back into the groove of things. But if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys again for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!